The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
The Ramah was the Rav of Krakow, Kroke in Yiddish. And Krakow was like the capital of Poland after Warsaw. It was like the biggest city. And people came from all over once a year for a Yerid. A Yerid is a market. And the whole city became one big market. And they split the city up into quarters. And they had one quarter was schoire, which means textiles. And then they had meat, chicken. People came with cows and sheep or meat ready cut up, ready gekashet meat. And people bought it, and it was much cheaper because, there was not just the 2-3 local butchers. It was hundreds of people selling their wares. There was a sale of pots. There was in the Goyish areas had the same thing. But the Yidden had their own area for selling meat because they didn't want the Yidden going shopping by the Goyim. So in Mela, they made a separate area for kosher meat. The Ramah was very hands-on in this kehillah. He was in charge of everything in the kehillah. And he went around and he made sure that everything was kashura. And his word was a word of gold. And whatever he said happened. And everybody was scared of him. There was nobody playing games. One year, during the Yerid, the Ramah tells his shamas, let's go for a walk. Now, the Ramah did these things from time to time. He did go out because he wanted to make sure of something going on. But normally he went into the city, he checked out this, that, the other. And this time, the Ramah didn't go to the city. He walked out of the city and he went to the fields outside the city. And the Ramah starts walking and following and going and turning. And then eventually they hear noise. They see coming camels and donkeys and horses and cows and people bringing them. And you can see these people are coming to the Yerid to sell their wares, to sell their animals. And people are bringing 50 cows, 100 cows. And then he sees caravans coming and people bringing meat. Anyways, there's a guy there that he's bringing 25 carriages of meat. It's a lot. Big soicher. And he's coming and he has a beard with payas and he's going to the market. And you could see that all his wagons have like stripes on it, the same 3-color stripes, to know that these are all his. And the Ramah is watching, and all of a sudden he turns to his shamas and he says, you see this wagon, number 14? The meat on that wagon is treif. It's treif. The guy looked at the Ramah. We have X-rated vision. I mean, what's going on here? But if the Ramah said it's treif, it's treif. He says, I want you to go to the market and tell the guy that he cannot sell the meat. It's treif. Kitza, the guy went to the market and he tells him, these are all your meat? Yeah. He says, number 14. The Ramah said that it's treif and you can't sell it to any Yidden. He says, what are you talking about? He says, are you going to listen or not? He says, no, it's kosher. He's making a mistake. Fine. The guy came back to the Ramah and he told the Ramah that the guy is fifing you on. So the Ramah sent him back and said, the guy tells him the Ramah wants you. And if you don't come, he's going to make a hachraza against you and then you're cooked because you're not going to be able to sell anything. Not the treifa meat and not all the other wagons that are kosher. You're going to be cooked goose. You're going to be finished. And no one's going to deal with you. And not even the Goyim are going to deal with you. If there's a achraz against you, even the Goyim honor the rabbi who made a isser on you, they're not going to buy from you. You're going to be stuck with 25 wagons of meat or whatever you have over there. So the guy got scared and he decided he's coming to the Ramah. So he comes to the Ramah and the Ramah says, welcomed him with a big smile. He said, Shalom Aleichem, how are you? He says, yeah. He says, you came to the Yerid? Yeah. He says, but you're selling treifa meat. He says, Rebbe, you heard of this in this sheikhet? He says, yeah. He says, he's the sheikhet on all the meat. He says, you heard of this in this boydek? Yeah. He's the boydek. You heard of this in this guy? This Rav? Yeah. He's the one that's salting all the meat. Everything is done kedasa kedin. So Ramah says, you're right, but the wagon 14, that meat is not from the sheichtim and boydkim and menakrim and kashering. That you got someplace else, because that's not kosher. So the guy says, Rebbe, it's not true. So the Ramah told him, Shakmin, it is true. Don't lie to me. I know it's treif. Be moida. The guy got so scared that he was moida. Hitaka said that he got a very good deal, and that's why he came and he brought it together with 25 other wagons. So it should look like all the meat is the same, but it's true, number 14 is treif. And he started to cry, and he asked the Ramah for tshuva. So the Ramah told him, the Ramah saw that Hitaka is being chayzer, Hitaka being tshuva me'emes, and the Ramah told him, fine, he gave him a seder at tshuva, but he told him that he should right away take out this wagon and bring it to the goyim and sell it to the goyim cheaper to get rid of the meat. And from now on, you lost your cheskes kashrus and you need a mashgiach. You can't do any business anymore without having a mashgiach. Everybody else has a cheskes kashrus. Eidach adam b'yisurim. If you come and sell me meat and you tell me that it's kosher, I trust you. That's it, finished. It's eidach adam b'yisurim. But now that you lost your cheskes kashrus, from today on, you have to have mashgiach to say that it's kosher. Okay? The guy left, and the Rav called in right away one of the Rabbonim, and he said, this guy's going to pay you. You go there and be the mashgiach, and make sure that number 14, wagon 14, gets sold to the goyim, and then afterwards, you could say that all the meat that's there is kosher. Sure enough, they left, and they sold it to the goyim. Fine. Afterwards, the Mishamish Bakodesh of the Ramah tells the Ramah, and he says, Rebbe, every one of those wagons looked exactly the same. They were all striped with the same stripes. They were all coming together in the same caravan of wagons. How were you able to tell that number 14 is treif? So the Ramah told him that I was sitting in my house, and I was thinking of learning, and I looked out the window while I was thinking of learning. And all of a sudden, I saw a whole bunch of ravens. Hundreds and hundreds of ravens flying together. And I realized something's wrong. What's going on here? The Shemayim is showing me something. And I went out and I followed the ravens. And I followed the ravens, and they went around, they went this way, they went that way. And then the wagons came. And when I saw the wagons coming, and I saw that they're selling meat, and it's all flesh, I saw that the ravens all landed on top of this wagon number 14. I have a Kabbalah that the Ramah was Megala. Kabbalah hi biyodi. Sheha'orvim roitvim achar basa treifa bedafka. Ravens want bedafka treif meat, not kosher meat. I guess they don't like salty meat. They don't want it. They could tell. And Memela, it was a siman min hashemayim to me that all the meat is, that wagon is treif. All the other wagons, the ravens didn't touch them. This wagon, the ravens touched. And Memela, with that I knew that the meat in that wagon is treif, and I wanted to save Klal Yisrael from Machalos Asuris and from Timtum Alev. And Memela, I went to this extent, and I caught the guy, and we made him do tshuva, and Taka, we saved a terrible tzara from coming to Klal Yisrael. And this story should be a schus. We should all starken sich in Machalos to make sure that whatever we eat is taket kosher.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org